Yo, welcome to the Sig Slayers, the comic signature show, period. I'm Mike the Sig Slayer, chilling with Mark the Honorable Villain. What up, fam?
What's up, Mike? We got a wonderful talent with us. Someone out of our hood.
Yes, sir. That's right. We got indie creator and Compton native, Jamal Anansi, joining us. But before we chop it up with Jamal, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and please comment. All right. Now for the main event, our next guest is the creator of The Dark Ones, Jamal Anansi. What up, fam? How are you doing today, man?
Man, I'm doing spectacular, man. How about yourself, man? What's up, Mark? What's good?
What's up?
Man, we've been waiting on this. I love the title, The Dark Ones. I can't wait to get into that. But before we get into The Dark Ones, this is your first time on the show. We want to get your comic book origin story. So being from inner city LA myself, South Central, we all watch cartoons one time or another, so we all shared that. But as far as like reading comic books, that wasn't really big where I was from. So I want to get, where did you get your influence from? And then when did you decide to make that pivot to create comics?
Man, it's a crazy story. So my mother, she was a special ed, teacher, assistant and everything. So she taught me, the same tools and tactics she used for the special ed kids, she used on me. And when I was growing up, so, I was basically reading and writing my name by the age of 2. And I could always read, like in the 2nd grade, I could read like at a 9th and 10th grade, reading level, things like that. And so at elementary school, me going to the library, it'd be, super thin books. I'm like, man, these is nothing. Like I get bored reading these. So I had to skim through the library to find, the books in the back. And it was thick books on Greek mythology and Sinbad the Sailor and the 40 Thieves. And Sinbad the Sailor and Alibaba and the 40 Thieves and the Iliad and Homer. Like those are books I was reading when I was a kid. And it was exciting for me because I would find those books in the back and nobody had them, so I pull them out and I'd be all dusty and I blow the dust off of them and I still read and that engrossed me like stories. And we had cartoons every day, and on the weekends. After school we run home and watch all the cartoons and just the whole animation. And I remember sitting there when I was a kid be thinking like, man, that'd be a dope job. Like if I can get paid to make cartoons, like that wouldn't never work. And I had that, inkling, that idea when I was a kid. And I didn't really get into comics until later on. It was an after-school program when I was about 12, 13 years old. And they had, a couple rooms in there people could study and, watch TV and congregate. And on one of the tables, they'll always bring like a gang of comic books in. They would be sitting on the table. Nobody really touched them. So I got in, I'll, read through. I'm like, man, I like these. Can I take a couple of these? I'm like, yeah, sure. Nobody wants these. So I take them and I get, reading just single issues, no particular order. But I love the story. I love the action, and that kind of got me into the role. But, growing up in, South Central LA, you start to, veer sometimes. In high school, I started gang banging and, living that horrible lifestyle. My life kind of, made a left because even though I was playing football games and just being in this culture, this gang bang mentality that permeates, South Central, that's what I got involved in. Unfortunately, I went to prison at 19 years old, man. And I had life. But, as the years went on in there, searching for some type of, positivity in the negativity, man, searching for some type of, catalyst to change my life, I got tired of BS, tired of living that, that destructive lifestyle. And I found comics to be like a good, not just comics, but movies and books in general, but comics because it was visual. I had pictures, in prison, you don't have nothing but gray walls, gray doors, gray clothes, but besides our TV, them comics, open them up and they see like, wow, the vivid pictures and the action, and not just that, but the intense stories and the story writing prowess of the authors. Like I'll read like something like Jason Aaron or Mark Waid or Brian Michael Bendis, who in that whole little Miles Morales, that art. It's like, this is not just comic books and cool stories, but this is like real carefully thought out storytelling. This is quality right here. This is really like, I'm really enjoying this for multiple reasons. I'm a grown man, but these are grown stories. These are stories not necessarily for kids, but, for grown folks, because it's a lot to digest a lot of times. And that's what I wanted to do. And it was a good outlet for me to sit down and write.
Jamal, I wanted to pivot to, when you're reading those early issues, who wrote or who has drawn some of your favorite versions of those characters?
Back then, I wasn't concerned with, the art or, not the writers or the artists. I was just concerned with the pictures and the visuals. And, oh, man, this is cool. This is where the cartoons come from. I couldn't really comprehend me sitting down and, enjoying like, you know, the Pacific who's and the what's. But it wasn't until I was in prison that it was probably like 2016, and I had a cellie, and he had the Miles Morales comic books, the single issues though.
Okay.
And he was like, he had a whole box full of comics, dude, you know, but you know, I'm in there, I'm thugging, I'm doing frontline or whatever. And he said, man, check these out, I got these. I'm like, yeah. He said, you know, because you in a cell, you bored. And I was reading them things, and Marquez, that's who the artist is. Brian Michael Bendis, that's who the writer is. I know that. And I was just so transfixed. I'm like, not just whether the art good, but the stories were good. I mean, it's Miles Morales. I mean, we obviously know what happened with that. But it just, I'm reading this, I'm like, I ain't know comics was this dope. Like this, I'm really enjoying this. Like, what is this? He's like, you got more? Like, yeah. So then he put out some Supergirl, and he put out the Hell on Earth Reign with Superman and all like that when they came. So I'm like, man, this going crazy. And it's like, I seen like the quality of writing, not just the art, but the whole quality of, you know, story arcs. Because I was always a good reader, good writer. Always had that, you know, that bug, that talent. But, you know, when you live in life, and especially the gang lifestyle, you get away from a lot of inherent God-given talents you have. And I was always a, you know, good writer. So I was able to, and I love movies. So I was able to appreciate, you know, the story arcs and the character development, and me feeling like a particular way, specifically like just like sad when, like, you know, spoiler alert, when Miles Morales' mama died. You know, that kind of jacked me up a little bit. I'm like, dang, but it's just not just appreciating that, but appreciating the build up to that. Exactly. And the author's real like techniques to where he laid that foundation to where when his mama actually passed, you're gonna feel that. And it's gonna hurt you. And you see why he like, man, I'm cool on this, I'm good. And it's like, I'm not even mad at you for that. I feel the same way, but then how he got pulled back into it when he did with, you know, it's like that's technique, man. That's when you turn a hobby into art. That's when you work on your craft and you figure out ways to not just tell a story, but tell a good, profound story that make you feel a certain type of way when you leave and afterwards for years after. That's what I want to do.
And Jamal, hypothetically speaking, what would you prefer, to stay indie where you have a lot more creative freedom, or doing a run for the big two and then going back to your original creations?
Yes. Yes, that is yes. Everything. Because I love doing, I mean, because why is there, you know, why I got to pick one or the other? For one, I love creating, you know, my stories. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my stories in a minute. But it's more about, I love creating my stories because that got me into the whole, you know, process of comics. But I would love to contribute to the canons of Marvel and DC. I mean, who wouldn't love to write, you know, for Batman and Superman and Spider-Man and, you know, all these. I want to write specifically for DC because I feel like they really need me over there. You know, Marvel, they got enough stuff going on. Y'all cool. Y'all really don't need it. Like, DC be needed sometimes. I feel like I can do some works of miracles with DC, man.
Let's dive into the Dark Ones real quick. Okay, the title packs so much symbolism. And then I haven't read the Dark Ones, but I did go on your page and I saw some beautiful artwork that's represented. And then it kind of matched what I had in my mind with the title. So before I jump to a conclusion in my mind, I want to talk to you. Tell the Stash fam, what's the premise behind the Dark Ones?
All right, man. The buzz sentence basically is what they told me. I got to compress it all into, you know what I mean? It's basically the Mother Earth creates 10 gods to defend her from another god, Osiris, who seeks to destroy the world and consume it and eat it. Sort of similar to Galactus and what he does with planets. Mm-hmm. But it's so much more in that. Like, that's like this much compared to what the story is really about. You know, it's more about, you know, because I've learned from people throughout my life, you know, especially like being in prison, learning from real political prisoners, brothers that was real Black Panthers who, you know, been in the SHU for 30 and 40 years and got out and they, you know, wanted, you know, they saw potential in me. They sat down with me and they taught me and they Brother Ashima and Brother Abdul, they two of the primary reasons I'm standing in front of you right now. You know, and not still in prison because they saw something in me and they allowed me and they encouraged me to pursue my talent of this writing. And them encouraging me to pursue my talent led to me calming down, relaxing, reevaluating my life and rehabilitating my life and myself. And so I was able to get out of prison because of the foundation they gave me, you know, because they saw something in me, they saw the potential. Right. You know, and they saw that, so they instilled things in me, like, you know, as far as just the real cause it was fighting for, as far as just the system in general and how it pits, the races and the political factions against each other. Also, we can fight just so the people at the top can sit down and laugh. Because as long as we fight each other, we're not paying attention to really who really messes us over. You know what I'm saying? So small things like that, as far as just, and also I read like R.A. Salvatore and the Dark Elves, and how, the elves, dark elves with black skin and white hair live underground and they're evil, and it's matriarch society and they're evil, and how spiders are evil. And I'm like, well, actually spiders are, a lot of cultures good luck, especially in Africa with Anansi, the spider. Not just that, but why is a race with black skin, why are they evil? You understand what I'm saying? Why is a matriarch society, why is that considered evil? Brother Sima came by myself, was like, hey man, what's up, man? See, you got a lot of comics on your show. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you like comics? Like, yeah, I'm a writer. He's like, oh, you're a writer? I was like, yeah, like, I'm an artist, man. Well, write me something. I'm like, oh. At that point, I haven't written anything as far as comics. I did little stuff in my little journals and my little prose, just getting like these thoughts out. I needed that outlet, that positive outlet. But as far as writing comics, I didn't do it yet. And so when he challenged me like that, I'm like, okay, I got you. Come back tomorrow. And this was like probably like 10 o'clock in the afternoon, well, in the morning during that day. I wrote the rest of that day, the rest of that night, all night into the next night. So I wanted to keep my word. That was my main thing. In prison, you ain't got too much but your balls and your word. You know what you say and what you're gonna do. And you better mean what you say and then say what you're gonna do. You understand what I'm saying? So I wanted to make sure I had that form by the next day. And I basically, in that time span, created the first 4 issues of my original series, The Godless, which became The Dark. It's the same thing. But it's basically the origin story. The first 4 issues of the Jaku and how he came up, and he's basically, him and his sister are twins. He's the god of death and Okimi's the god of life. How they were born from a mother tree, literally born from a big sequoia in a womb, and they were, caught, and how they grew up in their little village, but their village was taken over or being invaded by, rebels, and they split up. And his sister went to America with the research that was there. He stayed, in Africa, and it's a whole bunch to it. But
so this is based on Earth.
Yes. And current time is modern times.
I want to ask you this next question. Can you tell us about how you found your artists for the Dark Ones? And as an independent creator, what went into the selection process for character designs?
I was trying to, just find somebody who was, one, affordable, because, finding artists is not a cheap thing.
Nope.
And also one, really, and finding one that, with the quality that was good enough to, just being consistent, being able to, communicate and talk with me, and, just because we are a team. It's like all the books I've read, as far as just on writing comics, specifically like Words of Pictures by Brian Michael Bendis, they always talk about how the relationship with your artist is very it's almost like a marriage, to where you have to communicate, you have to talk, you have to have a plan, game plan, what you're going through. It has to be so you both can get the best out of each other. I don't want to nitpick and, micromanage the artist. Not what I do. I've learned through, previous relationships with artists, like, I want to give you the bones, man. I want to give you the bones, and you just put on the skin and the clothes and the blood and the hair. You make it look good, but as long as I give you a solid foundation as far as just good bones, we can go from there. And then as you come up with concepts, we can tweak things here and there. But it's supposed about us coming out with the best product we both can do. To your original question, where I found my artists at, on Facebook. I found going to all little Facebook groups, artists and writers, come together, collabs, and try to, figure stuff out. And I ran into my first artist, Lucas Cobell, who's, man, spectacular. He's working on so many things. He did Nightwalkers for me. He did the Jaku the God of Death, a 14-page mini comic, and Nightwalkers was 8 pages. Now he's working on the Godblade, which is a 24-page, one shot, all in the same universe, Dark Ones universe. And he's an amazing dude, man. He's out of Niagara Falls. I ran into another guy, Clovis Batabola, who's from Brazil. Amazing dude. You probably seen some of his art with all amazing colors and neon effects and everything. Like, the dude is, come on, man. He's won an award out there for best comic book art for O Kingdom Come. Like, he's really dope. I was really blessed, man, to get him on the team. Oh, Alberto Calafiore, man, he's from Italy. Man, this dude is spectacular, man. It's like his style, and then what I write, it's like Disney and The Walking Dead put together. They had a beautiful baby, and it's called Ebony and the Golden Gun, man. Like, you definitely got to check that out, man. And Aubrey Tart, man, he's from Indonesia. He was doing my Ghost and the Prophet, my first issue, 8-page mini comic, Ghost and the Prophet. This dude is like, because I like anime, but I don't like my stuff to be anime as far as in the style, because I feel like everybody's trying to follow that trend,
right.
And his style is hints of anime, but it's so different from it. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna need you on my team. So he did, a story as well. But it's all about, because being, in prison, I wrote so much because it was like my outlet, man. Like it was so much chaos and you know, self-destruction and, you know, violence up in there. And it was so much crap up in there that I used to be a part of, but I was getting away from it. I needed a positive outlet for that, and all my emotions, all the things I've been through all my life, and me writing my comics, that was that outlet. That was that positive thing that I can grab hold on to and love and cherish and nurture. And every story that I wrote is basically based on my life. Anywhere from the Jackal story to the Ebony and the Golden Gun story to the Ghost and the Prophet story to the Okimi, like every single story that happens in there, it gets direct influence from what happened in my life. Something, a lesson I've learned, something I've been through, people I know, you know, it all comes from that. So when people read my comic, you're basically reading my life story. You're basically reading my autobiography, every story that comes with it.
With that said, all these creators that you mentioned and all of the stuff, which is beautiful, by the way, man. I love the fact that you got to reach all over the globe with your collaborators.
Yeah.
But you know, a lot of people you've accomplished what very few have accomplished, right? From an independent level, a lot of people want to be a comic book writer. A lot of people want to be a comic book artist, but they can never put the peanut butter and the jelly together to make products happen. And so you were able to cross that bridge and continue to cross that bridge. And now you laying down your plots for your land and your colonies, right? My question to you is, what are your challenges that you face as an indie creator that, you know, that people should be aware of before they get started?
Man, first of all, support. Support is so important. You know, like I had the idea of writing comics, but I probably wouldn't have been here today talking to you if it wasn't for brothers who supported me, who encouraged me, who seen that I want to do something positive, and they seen the value in that. All the chaos, amidst all the destruction and self-destruction specifically in prison, Shima Denham, who did a couple of, he did some artwork for me for my comics, and all like that, continues to do it, and Abdul Shakur. These are brothers who were actual, real, live Black Panthers, homie. And they're political prisoners right now, up against it. They did time in the shoot, 30 and 40 years in the shoot, brother. You know what I'm saying? And they still kept their mind strong. And these brothers saw me, saw my potential, and encouraged me every day. They would be patient enough to read my little scratches on my little paper and, hey, what do you think it is? Man, this is good, this is dope. That was everything to me. To have somebody believe in me, especially in that situation when you're being in prison, the only way that you got real validation is by committing violence against somebody else. Then you gotta support and motivate yourself. You gotta be your own motivation. You gotta be your own cheerleader, because you gotta believe in yourself, because somebody else believed in you and that gave you validation. But it's nothing if you don't believe in yourself as well. All the books I read about people who went from nothing to something, at a certain point in their life, they had to be their own best cheerleader. They had to, like, I got this. Like, fuck, this is hard right now, but I'm finna do me, because I know what I want. I know how to get there. I know people before me and got there before, and it's the road they travel.
Hey, you Jamal, doing it, man. I love this, man.
Jamal, looking to the future, like you're saying, if you could pick two artists to do covers and interiors for your next story arc, and they'd accept, who would you pick?
Anybody in the world, and they accept.
Anybody.
I pick the four that roll with me right now. Alberto Calafiore, my boy Lucas Cobell, my boy Clovis Batabola, and my boy Aubrey Tart. Why? Because we started from the bottom, and now we here. I want to take you with me, because I want them to be just as big as all the other people y'all might be thinking about in y'all head. Of course, I would want to work with, you know, the Jim Lees or the, you know, Alex Ross if you ever decide to do it in, you know, a cover, or, you know, Lee Weeks especially. That's cool. But the people I came up with, the people I started this with, that's what I want to take with me in perpetuity. I want to make their name I want to be able to not afford them no more. Like, now I can't even afford that dude no more. I started with him, but now he's too big for me now. I can't. That's what I want.
I got to ask this question. Which one of your characters from the Dark Ones universe that you most identify with right now? It can change tomorrow.
Yeah, it kind of don't change. It's two of them, but really it's Ghost. Ghost definitely, man. It's just, he's the primary character in my Ghost and the Prophet series. And the thing with Ghost is essentially me. It's an amalgamation of me and a lot of people I know. When the rapture happens, Ghost is in prison, serving his life term. And he's on the yard when, you know, basically, you know, the angels of death come and they kill everybody. But after the war and after the Dark Ones win, the world is rejuvenated, the world is healed. Mother Okini heals the world, makes it new. No more pollution, no more global warming. LA, imagine LA, but it got dropped in the middle of a forest. And Ghost wakes up in this world trying to survive, and it's new rules. Guns don't work. Gunpowder, it's like sand. Oil and gas is like water, so cars don't work. All you got is, nuclear power. That don't work. So it's basically back to swords and axes and bows and arrows and things like that. It's him trying to survive and trying to figure out how deal with the guilt of his old life, being a gang member and why he was in prison, but and in his new life trying to be a good person.
Can you tell us what the ideal goal is for the Dark Ones? Do you want to keep it do you want to make it an ongoing series, or do you want to keep it as mini-series? What would you like to do?
Man, because I got so many stories. My original, the Dark Ones, when the origin, when they're first born from the mother tree and all like that, I've already written 43 issues of that. That series can go basically on forever. Honestly, at the end of the day, if I can go to a show and I can sell one book and that person reads that book and say, I love this book, I'm cool with that. Honestly, that's because from the journey, brother, where I've come from, what I've been, I can't even tell you the half of it. But from where I came from to where I am now, it's already an accomplishment. I'm already a winner, especially from all the people who know me and know what I've been through, know my whole little life story. They be like, man, you've already accomplished so much. Yeah, so me being able to even sit at a table, have my own table, at LA Comic Con, which is coming up, which I do actually have a table at, and to actually do that and just sell a book and be like, oh man, I like to take a picture. I've already won. I'm a walking miracle, man. I'm not supposed to be here right now. I had life in prison. I had 80 years, 80 to life in prison for the shit I did, living this bullshit life out here. But I changed my life. I rehabilitated myself. I realized the wrong I did, and I want to put positivity back out into the world. And I want to put positivity back out into the world by showing kids that the only ways to make it out the hood, you ain't got to gang bang, you ain't got to sell dope, you ain't got to play sports, you ain't got to rap. You can create art. You can create, you like computers and all like that. You like video games? Well, how about you make your own video game? There's a way to do that. It's called computer programming. You like cars? Well, why don't you make your own cars? You can go to become an auto mechanic. You can build any type of car you want to. You know what I'm saying? You like comic books, you like cartoons? Well, become an artist, become a writer.
How can we and the Stash fam get our hands on anything you got? By the end of this month, I'm putting a little final tweaks and, edits and all like that on my comic book, but it's coming out at the end of this month, man. Most definitely, man. The first issue is called Tales of the Fall. It's going to have 2 stories in it. So I have one 14-page story called The Jackal, the God of Death. It's basically like an origin story telling you the brass tacks of basically what's going on. And also it's going to have another story called Ebony and the Golden Gun, which takes place after the Great Fall. Matter of fact, if you go on my website right now, you can read both of those right now at janansicomics.com. janansicomics.com. You can read, there's 4 stories on there that you can read and check out and enjoy. That's what I'm gonna have, because I'm not afraid to, show my talent. I trust my talent, man. I want you to go, and read them for free. You don't have to pay. Go and click and read and enjoy. There's 4 stories on there. It's Jackal, the God of Death. It's Okimi, the Goddess of Life. It's an 8-page story with her. It's Ebony and the Golden Gun. It's another one called Nightwalkers. It's Native Americans, and they come in there, and they're night elves too. And they smash, and they doing their thing. They reclaim America as their own, and they doing their thing. JAnansiComics.com.
Right.
And it'll be a graphic up there, so they'll see it. It's gonna be a graphic.
Last question. Is there anything that we haven't discussed that you want the supporters to know about?
You did mention that you're going to have a table at LA Comic Con later on this year. So Mark's going to pull up on you there. We'll definitely get some Sig Slayer coverage at your table for sure. janansicomics.com, so that we can make the announcements when these first issues hit print, baby.
It's styled like a blog, so please like and comment and share, do whatever you do, especially comments, and let me know, if you like the story and anything, just how you enjoy it. Like that means everything too, man. Start this dialogue, start this, cold conversation happening around the darkness, man. It's gonna be beautiful, man. It's gonna be amazing. It already is.
I can't wait to see where this goes. And so thank you so much, Jamal, for joining us today. You always have a home here on the Sig Slayers, so whenever you need to make an announcement or whatever, just hit me up. We can do this again. So this ain't your last time showing up here, so you always have a home here. All right? Well, that's all for our show. If you like what you see, please subscribe and hit the like button. This is Sig Slayers. I'm Mike, speaking for Mark and Jamal Anansi. We are out. Peace!
Sig Slayers.